Well, it's about 30 degrees here, and I'm going to crank this Massey Ferguson tractor. See how it does. It ain't real cold. We're going to go hook it to the generator. Oh yeah, fire right up. Now, one thing I've noticed about this tractor is when the engine is cold, it always starts right up, but it doesn't like to take off and go immediately. It'll kind of stumble and sputter around until it starts getting warm. And it ain't got much power when it's cold either. Like it's right now, it's barely got enough power to move itself right now. But that changes as it warms up. I'm not sure if it's a feature to keep you from running the tractor when the engine's cold, or if it's just the nature of the engine. I don't know. It's almost like they got it limited in the computer until it starts getting warm. But anyway, I'm going to run over here. I got a grapple on the front. I'm going to drop it off. And then I'm going to get my generator out. It's a PTO generator, and it's 40 kW. And it'll run my whole house. So I'm going to get it out and I'm going to hook it up. There's a bunch of stuff in front of it, of course. It's been sitting a while. Hopefully it still works. It's a Generac. You'll see it here in a minute. So it's back in here behind, well, basically everything. And right there it is. I got to move the 1910, and I got to move that TC40. I may have to move this ZD331. Hopefully I don't have to move the Toro. I don't think my tractor will fit between the wall and this ZD331. I need to go ahead and get it moved over a little bit. I need to move this truck over a little bit. Too much stuff in the way. I got everything moved out of the way. I'm going to hook it up here. It's kind of dark, but there we go. I got the 40 kW generator right here. It's an 80 kW surge, 40 kW continuous, and it'll run my whole house. And I got to get it hooked up to the tractor and take over to the house. Heading to the house with it. See it back there? Little thing. We'll take it up here and get some power back so we can cook something to eat. I'm about to starve to death. It's getting to be about 1:30. Get everything hooked up. I already see an issue. This thing right here is gonna have to be thawed out. So maybe I can beat the ice off of it. I don't know. Maybe. If it ain't got too much in it. This is the plug that goes to the house. I got an automatic switch box on my house, but I don't have an automatic generator. I had this installed when I moved in. This right here is an automatic switch box. Now when I plug this generator in and turn it on, this box up here will automatically sense that there's power coming from a generator, and it will turn the switch to power over to the generator automatically. And I'm watching a mouse run between these bushes right here, which I don't like. Anyway, let's get this thing started up. Alright, got a ground line coming off the generator. On. Big wire, clean all the ice out of it. Plug it in. That's all there is to it. Got the generator plugged in, and turn this big main breaker off and start the generator up. So turn the PTO on. All right, now we need to go to 540 RPMs. That's not, this should be moving, but it's not. I'm not sure why. We'll turn the breaker on. Something's wrong. It's not energizing. That's not good. I think there's a stud inside of it, but you got to take the cover off that you can put power to and force it to energize, but you got to take the dang cover off of it. So, and the reason I know it's not putting out any power is because of this right here. The needle should be up here in this area here, but it's not. So I'm going to have to do some work to it. Dang it. I wanted this to be simple. Alright, I got to take this cover off and see to get to this lug that I'll keep referring to that's in here. And I got to apply 12 volts to it. Now I'm not 100% sure this is going to work. Sometimes the boards burn out on these things. I've had trouble with that before. Not recently, but it does happen. Hopefully that's not the problem, or I'll be out of luck as far as power goes. do have a 5,000 watt generator, but I don't have it set up to hook to this huge plug that you have to run this house. This generator was tested 3 months ago and it was working perfectly fine. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden it don't want to work. Alright, see right here. It says field flashing point, momentarily connect 12 volt DC. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to connect 12 volts and see if it'll flash it into working. I don't know that it'll work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to pull my wife's truck down here, hook these jumper cables to it. Okay, I've got the jumper cables connected to the truck. I'm going to start the generator and then I'm going to touch the jumper cable lead to it and see if it'll turn it on. I turned it on. It's going to take it a few seconds for the switch box to realize that there's no power, and it should switch. There it went. All right, I heard it. I hope y'all heard it. I heard the tractor lug down a little bit. Let's make sure we still got enough RPMs. Looks pretty good. You're supposed to keep that needle in that center of that hashed area. And we're really close, so I'm gonna go in the house and check with a voltage meter the voltage, make sure we got the right voltage going in the house. It's very important. Alright, let me put this stuff up. Okay, I'm in the house. I got a meter, multimeter. I'm going to check the voltage. I'm going to plug the leads into the outlet. And put this on the right setting. See what we got here. 126 volts. Well, that's about 6 volts too much. 5, okay, bouncing back and forth. But it's not over enough to hurt anything. You also have to keep the hertz. You can't slow the speed of the tractor down too much or your hertz get too low. And I'm not an electrical engineer, so I'm not going to get into all that hertz and voltage and all that, but There is a way to adjust the voltage a little bit lower, but I done put the panel back on. The tractor has to run about the speed that it's running to keep the hertz right. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to mess with it because the voltage will vary a little bit. Like if the heat pump comes on, it'll probably drop below 20 volts. So right now there's not much of a load on the generator, so I'm not going to mess with it. Everything seems to be working fine, and I'm just not going to mess with it. So I finally got the generator going, and the wife's happy that she's got power again. I don't know how long the power's going to be off. We haven't heard. Could be a long time, could be 10 more minutes, who knows. But with the ice damage that we have, I'd say it's going to be at least 24 hours. So Max Ferguson's going to get some hours put on it. I need to check the fuel, make sure it's full of fuel, fill it up with fuel. I think I got some fuel on the tank of my truck, so I'll do that later on this evening. Alright, so this tractor's been running my house for about an hour. I'm going to go ahead and put some fuel in it. I want to see how much fuel is in it. It's getting pretty low, down to about 1/4 of a tank. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some fuel in it. This tractor is running at 540 RPMs right now, and it's very quiet. If you get notice that, I mean, it's really not that loud for running at 540. I'm gonna go ahead and stick some fuel in it off my truck, if that's possible. Look at this fuel hose. Everything is just frozen. It's not really hard frozen. I mean, you can bust it, but it's still frozen. Ice is on this light right here. It's like over a ½ an inch. It's crazy. And this truck has been sitting inside since about 8 o'clock this morning. So it don't even have the full depth. Look at this tree over here. That's another Bradford pear. It just split every which way. That's another one I don't have to mow around anymore. Alright, full of fuel. This is ready to run all night, baby. I gotta get back to pushing trees out of the road. I'll see y'all later. Well, after 27 hours of continuous running, we finally shut the generator down. The power come back on about 45 minutes ago. I was out still pushing tree limbs and stuff out of the road. My uncle come up here and shut it down for me. So it's probably still warm. Yeah, it's still a little bit warm, but didn't have any trouble once I got it going. Once I jumped it off the battery, it didn't give any more trouble. Run the whole house, 2 heat pumps, water pump, all the lights, refrigerators, freezers. Just sit here and hummed without any trouble. So I did look at the gauge, what the tractor was saying. It said it was running, I know the heat pump was on at the time, one of the heat pumps was on, and I looked and the tractor was saying it was burning 1.5 gallons per hour. So that ain't too bad. Not bad at all. So anyway, we'll talk to y'all later. I'm gonna let that thing sit there for another day. Just make sure the power stays on, because they're still out working on a lot of places and it could go back off. See y'all later.